law. So if you don't want to go broke when you're old, and guess what? You're gonna. Even NBC admits it. They did this report. You can find the link on the website, davidcarrierlaw.com. And because what's going on, the answer is, excuse me, the answer is the uh, healthcare costs. There's supposed to be $50 trillion passing hands. Ain't gonna happen. And most of the estate planning is a waste of time anyway. Because why? Because if you die with nothing, well, who cares? I mean, you still need to do your powers of attorney, so so the court isn't making your healthcare decisions, stuff like that. That's a good idea. But if you aren't thinking about how do I cover the cost of long-term care, well, you're not thinking. The estate plan you did is a waste of time. I'm serious. I really, well, uh, anyone who's listened to the show for more than a couple of weeks knows that, right? What people do to plan or not plan for the skilled care is just, it's unfortunate is what it is. And here's the thing. So don't believe me. Look at NBC. They did this whole report on all the, everybody keeps focusing on, oh, there's all this money going to change hands when the boomers die. Well, the answer is not if the healthcare system gets it first. And if you don't think the healthcare system wants it first, uh, think again. I don't know what to tell you. You're not being very, I mean, when skilled care is $12,000 to $15,000 a month in a skilled nursing facility, if assisted living is, it's more than half of that. I mean, we've got people who were paying just recently paying $13,000 a month for memory care, right? Well, they were doing all the things for this person that a skilled nursing facility would do, and that's the other thing you see a lot of creep of the mission creep from the assisted living facilities are now providing services that used to be exclusively provided by long-term care facility, by skilled nursing facility, nursing homes. And it's not a surprise, because it's expensive and everybody's trying to save some money. And if you can do it in a assisted living context as opposed to a skilled nursing context, well, that's a lot less expensive. Fewer nurses, different rules. Just put it that way. Different rules, and less expensive to comply with the rules in a assisted living facility versus a traditional skilled nursing. That's why you see so much of the shift. But this report, the overall report, is that the healthcare costs are going to eat it up, and the reason that's significant is because in America, each generation that succeeds stands in large measure on the shoulders of the generation that came before, right? Not all of them. I'll give a personal example. In my family, right? My dad worked 17 years at the Narragansett Brewery in Cranston, Rhode Island, bottling beer. Now he didn't do that, and he had the graveyard shift from it was at 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. Seems to me is what his or maybe it was 7 to 3, but it was an 8-hour shift anyway for 17 years, and he taught school during the day. And why did he do that? Because, well, there's no family money. The only one paycheck, right? And 8 kids. There you go. Do the math, okay? And the math meant 17 years of doing that. So okay, that's what he did, right? Well, what did he do? And what did they do for us? Well, education. Remember how education was the thing? And now you get university presidents who don't know whether threats of genocide violate their code of conduct. Call somebody by the wrong pronoun, you get bounced out of school, right? Threaten genocide. Got to think about that. What was the context? It's like, oh my God, So, relying on education to pull us up, and that's a good one, right? But that's, the fact of the matter is that nowadays schooling is so much more expensive, housing is so much more expensive, and the things that you used to be able to do, you can't do anymore. They're just not available anymore. And so the importance of giving the next generation a boost is more important now than it ever has been. Okay. And you've worked and you've saved and you've done all the good things. I get it. Our house is paid off and money in the 401k or IRA, whatever it is, right? You've done all those good things. And the only beneficiary of it is going to be, my experience, the primary beneficiary of it is the long-term care system. That's who benefits from it. It's not your family. It's not you. Uh, people go along until one of them needs skilled care, married couple, for example, right? The family resources are all drained by the first one who needs the care. This is what's happening to family farms, Centennial Farms, routinely. This is just how it is. Okay, I'm not telling you anything you can't figure out for yourself, but you know, we've had clients come in and explain that you know, talking to the business office manager of the facility, they're like, what are we supposed to do? Oh, that's the farm. Well, what everybody else is doing, I mean, they give them the typical advice. What everybody else is doing is selling it off. So you're going to have to sell it off because that's what people do. Well, it doesn't have to be that way. This is the point of the planning that we've been doing now 34 years, right? Since 1990. There's ways not to do, there's ways to benefit from what you paid into. There's ways not to go broke in a long-term care facility. You don't have to, it's a choice, right? This is why we're doing these workshops. Now, if you don't plan for your own care, if you don't plan for that, and it's not easy. I mean, there's Social Security, easy, right? They took the money out. Medicare, easy. They take the money out of your Social Security check. Social Security is easy. Why? They took the money out of your paycheck. And now Medicare is easy. Why? They took the money out of your Social Security check. All right. But you have to do something if you're going to get the long-term care. You got to, or forget about it, and then fine, die broke. That's, take the government cheese, whatever the government decides. Once your money's run out, you get whatever they decide to give you. When has that worked for you? Mm. But if it does, there it is. And the whole point is, number one, to make sure that you and your spouse, you and, if you're, unless you're single and it's just you, right, is to make sure that you get what you have earned, that your money is utilized in a good way for you. Let's do that first. But then once we've done that, and this is what NBC, like I say, NBC is, mainstream media and all that. Every once in a while, a blind squirrel finds a few nuts. Well, every once in a while, they're correct about something. This is one of those occasions where they actually got it right. And the consequence is that the next generation, which was kind of counting on us, kind of counting the next generation, kind of counting on the boomers to help them out. Well, if the healthcare system sucked up all your money, and by healthcare system they mean long-term care facilities, if that's where the money went, well, I guess there's nothing there to bail them out with. And if there are leftovers, this is the other thing. If there are leftovers, most of the cash is in the IRA for most people, in the traditional IRA. And then your kids empty the IRA as soon as you reach room temperature, right? You're not around anymore. They're the beneficiary in the IRA. Empty the IRA, pay 42% of income tax, state and federal in Michigan anyway. I hadn't even thought about the local income tax because you got that too. So maybe it's more like 43% goes to the government, which government entity depends, right? And so you don't have to worry about them taxing your IRA. They're not going to do that. They're not going to do a direct tax because then you'd react to that. So they're not going to. And they don't have to, because when your kids take the lump sum out, right, that's when the 40% middle class death tax, which is really just the income tax, but that's when that applies.